Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Rachel and I make planty content, planty repots, planty styling, planty tours, all things planty. Today we have some well-needed moss pole maintenance. I have plenty of plants on moss poles, I think around 11 or 12, and I will actually be adding one more today. I was at the plant store earlier today, as I do, and bought another plant that requires a moss pole. Surprise, surprise. So I need to set up the pot and moss pole for that one. I have probably 6 extensions that I need to do. I think only one chop and extend, which is nice because chop and extends are a pain, but they are necessary in order to have beautiful moss pole plants. So I'm going to be taking you through that process for me. I may or may not, depending how much work that is, repot. Sorry, that was my electric vacuum. I may or may not repot my Thai constellation monstera and put that one on a larger moss pole, because I learned that the moss pole that you put a plant on, it's very difficult, if not impossible, to upgrade the moss pole size after it starts to grow on the moss pole. And I have it on like a medium size right now, so I need it to go to a large. So we'll see how much energy I have for that, because I think I need to mix some soil for that as well. We will see. But yeah, so let's get started. All right, so I've gathered my moss pole plants that need some maintenance. I'm gonna go through each one and kind of tell you what each one needs and do a little update on them. Just to preface, I have moved recently, if you don't know, if you haven't watched my previous videos, and a few of my moss pole plants, the leaves on the newer leaves are a little bit smaller than you usually see when you get moss poles, and you know, they grow and grow and grow. So just to keep that in mind. But the Marble Queen is not disappointing. She is very tall. She is 3 moss poles high, so we are going to be doing a chop and extend, which will be nice because she's got some like crispy small leaves down here, so I want to kind of clean her up and then get her growing on to the next one. You can see in the back of these moss poles how thick and compacted these roots are. I know there's kind of a glare, but it's just so crazy like how much that these roots are established in here, which is a good sign. And I have a gardening stick attached to this one, otherwise it would not be able to stand up by itself. So it definitely needs a chop and extend and not just an extension. Next one up is my philodendron majestic. Philodendron majestic, yes. I'm getting back into the groove of things. Let's see, she actually has quite a bigger leaf than the one previous. So that one's, it's getting pretty up there. That one was the one before that, and then we have this one, and I think it hasn't even hardened off yet, so it might still grow just a little bit. But she is at 2 poles, so I need to extend her 1. I think that this pot that I have her in is heavy enough to keep her stable without a garden pole. So crossing my fingers for that. She just needs an extension. All right, this one is going to be a little difficult. I gotta pull her out of the corner. And, oh my gosh. I wish you could see how unruly this is. Hang on. Can you see that? She's like two nodes off of the moss pole. So this needed a chop and extend like a month and a half ago, basically. And the leaf size is probably gonna see some dip, some sort of like regress because of that. But here we are. We are gonna work on it. So we are going to chop and extend her, and that's good as well because we're already seeing like some of the bottom leaves die off and get crispy. I've already cut a few of them because they were not looking so great, but she's gonna look good in a chop and extend. All right, next one is a little bit shorter, And it is one that I think I actually messed up when I first put it on there, because I didn't realize that it mattered what direction that you put the plant on the moss pole, if that makes any sense. So this is my pothos, Mandula pothos. You can kind of see how it's trying to grow away from it. I think that's because the nodes are facing out. So I need to flip it and reattach it back onto the moss pole, because the leaves are not getting any bigger, they're staying the same size, and it keeps trying to grow away from the moss pole. So we need to fix that. All right, next one is one that I just bought today, and you're gonna have to bear with me on the name of this. Philodendron brandonzii. I'll put the name on the screen. But I saw these leaves and they're reminiscent of a patriciae, kind of like a patriciae billy. Sorry, that was my cat. Yummy. Are you okay? The leaves, I think, are reminiscent of a patriciae slash billy. I just think that they're super cool, glossy when they're clean, and I like the shape of them, and it's cool, like climbing plant. So I thought, why not another moss pole? And just for funsies, not a moss pole plant, but one that I also got at the store today, is this philodendron grazielle. I thought it was super cute. Look at these heart leaves. They're just gorgeous. Super, super heart-shaped. I thought that the philodendron, the heartleaf philodendron, was the most heart-shaped, but I think this is pretty cute. Okay, one last thing I got from the store today is this really cute pot. I just had to mention it. I like the light pink, or the light purple. I think it's adorable, so. All right, back to the moss pole plants. These next two are actually pretty similar looking, but one is a philodendron splendid and the other one is a philodendron glorius. This is my splendid. I still have to look at the tags to know which one it is. This is the splendid, looking gorgeous. I think it does have a little bit of like probably lack of watering, yellowing, slash maybe too much light sometimes. The lighting situation in my apartment, I'm still trying to figure it out and, like, you know, get plants where I want them to be and where they like the light best and stuff. But we are going to be just extending this one, which is nice because it's less work than a chop and extend. And yeah, so that one's over there. My glorious is also getting just an extension, and her leaves are going crazy. Look at that leaf shape. And the size is awesome. I mean, we are probably one node past the moss pole. So we are definitely in dire need of the extension, and I'm glad that I'm doing it now. But it's not as bad as the majestic, but still very much in need. All right, last one, I think, is not on a moss pole yet, but it is my mess of a philodendron Florida ghost. I think there are three or four plants in this pot, which is way too much. It's pretty, but it dries out so fast and it's not growing bigger leaves like I want it to. So I'm going to take one of the plants, put that on a moss pole, and then probably just keep two other vines in the pot and do something else with the other one. Maybe sell it, maybe give it away, who knows. But that is the plan for the Florida ghost. I'm gonna go ahead and do the extensions first because those are the easiest. Oh, well, I wasn't recording for a while, but we extended the glorious pole, and I was just saying that I use a chopstick to push down the moss while I'm putting it in there. It makes it a lot easier. Oh my gosh. And then I leave just enough room to fit the watering cup back in. Oh, and that's another thing I ordered from them was their wicking moss pole waterers, because I've just been using these little cups with like 2 holes punched in the bottom of them, and as you can see, we just have like some mineral buildup, and it makes it to where I have to clean these not crazy often, but just like enough to make it annoying, and it eventually like clogs up so the water doesn't like drip down because the holes are clogged. So it just is another thing I have to worry about. So I'm excited for those to come in as well. All right, and then we attach at the node. Just like that. And she is looking good. I'm gonna go water her through and then set her up where she goes. Next extension is the Splendid. And this is what I'm talking about, where it won't drain if there's winds up being buildup and stuff in it. All right, that is Splendid. No, yes, that is Splendid, all done and extended. I just need to attach her at the node point and then shower her off and put her in her spot. All right, 2 down. I think I want to tackle the Majestic next. No. I keep getting them confused. The verrocosum. I want to do that one next, and I think I want to put her in the new pot with leca, because her root system is so established in the moss pole that she doesn't really need, I mean, leca can always be a substrate for a philodendron, but I just don't want to use any soil whenever like the roots of that part of the plant aren't really going to be absorbing any of the nutrients from the soil. So I think I'm going to do leca in for her and then extend her. We are going to chop, and we're going to chop at the, can you see this? Kind of like this. Oops, like that. Okay, so I'm going to chop. Here is the beginning of the second pole. So the second pole is going to be probably like this deep in the leca, and I don't want any, or I want a lack of petioles beneath the leca. So I'm going to chop probably, where am I going to chop? I'm going to do right there on the main vine, and I guess right here on the, because I don't know if this one has any roots right there, because it's pretty dry. Yeah, I don't think so. That might not actually make it on the pole, but all right, let's see if we can. Oh, nice. It's got a little bit of roots this in there. I'm going to put that one there, so keep it holding in there. Yeah, I don't really want that to be underneath the water. Unfortunately, I think I need to get rid of this one. I cut this, and why does it smell like jalapenos? Am I just going crazy? Okay, so this is gonna go, I'm gonna remove some of this because I don't want that all up in the leca. Move this to the side. Now we're gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and use my new pot because I think it's super cute. This doesn't fit it exactly, but it'll work. So now I'm gonna fill this with leca. Sturdy. Nice. Okay, now we're gonna extend it, which I need to reuse the pole that I just took off of this, so I'm gonna go clean that real quick and come back. I was able to save most of the sphagnum moss from the pole that I took off of here because in this economy we save as much as we can. And I think it's looking good. We got the light purple pot with the leca, and she's all fresh. I am going to go shower her and put her in her spot. Okay, I took a little break because I was losing energy very fast, but I ate some pizza, watched some TV, and changed my shirt. So now I'm feeling so good. So the next step is going to be either my Marble Queen or the Majestic, but the Majestic is just a extension, so we will do that one. Oh no, I don't think I have any more Russo poles. Ooh. Okay, I actually do have 2 Russo poles left, but I was planning on keeping them together and putting the Florida Ghost on them, but I can just do 1 for now, and then hopefully my Russo poles will come in soon. So I'm gonna separate these and take that off of there. See, it's so easy. And that's literally it. Now I'm just gonna go shower her. Well, technically, I have enough moss poles to do what I want to do, because I need at least 1 for this one, and I need 1 for this one. And I really want this one to be on a Rousseau moss pole. I think that the Florida Ghost wouldn't mind being on the this one, the block one, and I can kind of just clip her on with some plant clips. But, big but, the moss pole that I would need for this extension is on my Thai constellation. So in order to get the moss poles I need to take that one off the Tycon and then put the new moss pole on the Tycon, which is what I was considering not doing because that is a lot of work, but it might just need to be done, and I have been wanting to do it for a while, so looks like my mind has been made up for me. I'm gonna go ahead and repot and do the extension on the Marble Queen because I want to get her out of the way, basically. So I'm gonna put her in Lekka. She's already in Lekka, so that's not gonna be too much of a big deal, which is nice. So, oh wow. Look at those. Ooh, some of those are not looking good. I'm gonna go wash these off in the sink. Okay, now I take some of this, I think it's called tree tape or plant tape or something. It's not sticky, but I use it to wrap or secure the stake to the moss pole to give it some support. Nice. All right. Perfect. Now I can go give her a wash and set her up. It is a new day. We had a fire alarm during the video, so I had to stop and we had to take the animals out, and it was a whole problem. But we are back. I have my Tycon ready to be repotted. I have my giant moss pole ready to go into her pot. I have the extra large pot. I think from what I know of, they only make one, this company only makes one more size bigger than this, and that's what my big monstera is in. I have my soil mix mixed up, and I have sphagnum moss, and we are all ready to go to repot her. So let's do this. I'm gonna cut her off, or I'm going to cut the tape right here first. I don't know if you can even see that, but I have some tape putting her onto the moss pole. I'm gonna cut that off first. And then, how am I gonna get the roots? I guess let me prep the new pot first. That is a good idea. That is a good idea. I hope I have enough soil, because this is a giant pot. I feel like my scoop isn't gonna really do the trick here. Might just should be good. All right, so as you can see, the roots are very much in this moss pole. So I'm gonna undo the moss pole and try to slip the roots out so I don't damage, and try to like save as many as I can. But this will be interesting. All right, now, oh yeah, okay. So what I would like to do is put the spine of the plant right up against the pulp. So it is gonna look a little funky when it's planted, but that is in the best interest of the plant in the long term. That is pretty dense, so I'm trying to loosen it up a little bit so we can help it a little bit. Well, I don't know if I can. That's pretty tense. Maybe I'll just shove all these down in there. And I want this in there somehow, not just on the surface. But then this needs to be, see, I don't want to leave that. Like this. Okay. I mix it up a little, or I try to loosen up a little bit more. I think it's a little better. Yeah, I think I can do that. Now I just need it to get further down in the pot. So I'm gonna get rid of some of this. That's old. Where'd she go? There she is. Just gonna help her along in there. And all right, we're gonna go for that. Let me know if you guys would like to see a video about how I make my chunky soil mix. It's nothing crazy, but a lot of my, or all my philodendrons love it. I put it in my Hoyas in it. I actually even have a couple alocasias in it. I think that's it. Yeah. So basically any plant that's not a succulent or a cactus, I have one in here, or a begonia. Begonia, I don't put begonias in this. But let me know if you guys would like to see that, because I know a soil video is not super entertaining. Who knows, maybe we can make it entertaining. I love how this pole is not secure in here at all, but that's just gonna have to be the way it is. And then whenever I have to, do you even chop? I guess you do chop and extend monsteras, huh? Whenever I have to do that for this one, that is when we will bury it a little deeper. Now I'm gonna use that same trick with the chopstick. I'm going to go in there and compact it a little bit. I am going to use my last garden stake to give this some support, because whenever I tape the spine onto the moss pole, because the moss pole is not super far down into the pot, it's going to just pull the moss pole forward, and it's not really going to give it any, it's not going to give the plant any support. So I'm gonna go get that and do that before I attach the plant onto the moss pole. Yep, that tracks. I think that I would even go with one a little bit thicker than this, but this is the only one I have, so she will have to do. I think that that's fine. Okay. And now I need to, yes, this does look precarious. I am aware. We are doing our best. Any tips are welcome. I recognize that I am not an expert. I don't know if I ever will be. Well, I wouldn't say that. But I'm a long way away from it, we'll say. Okay, so let me get you close in over here. Okay, I hope that focused, but I learned that you are supposed to only bind the spine. Well, obviously, no, well, not obviously, but you're only supposed to bind the spine, not the actual leaves. So I'm gonna go right here in this section between these leaves, and I'm gonna go like that. Okay, Tycon is repotted and has the big moss pole on her. That frees up this one, which I'm going to use on the Florida Ghost. And that still leaves this propagation without a moss pole, but I think what I've decided to do is take the, I always forget what this is. Mandula pothos. Take the mandula pothos off of this moss pole and basically just not have it on a moss pole for right now until I get my next shipment of moss poles in, because I'd rather have that one on a Russo moss pole than have this one on the Russo moss pole. So that is the plan. Let's do the propagation first and get that set up, because right now it's still in water and I want to get it in at least something. And that's just saying if I don't wind up having enough energy for the Florida Ghost, then at least that one is good. Okay, I did a lot off camera because I figured this video was becoming very long and I was getting very tired, but I have updates. So I went ahead and you can see that this is still wet because I showered it, but I put the Florida Ghost on a moss pole, so that is good. I put the other two Florida Ghost babies in just like a normal pot, no moss pole, and I'm going to figure out something to do with like maybe like having them climb up on the wall or something. I feel like that would be cool. And I potted the, oh my gosh, I need to remember what this is. Brandon something, I'll put it on the screen. But I potted this up in leca and washed the leaves and massaged them with neem oil, so they look glossy and gorgeous, and I like the way that it looks with the leca. So I got that up, and then I switched around the Mandula pothos, so it looks a little funky right now, but hopefully it should reorient itself and get to getting bigger leaves and also just start facing forward. I put it in this little pink pot, which I think is so cute. I got this from IKEA. I think that was it. It felt like a lot more than it sounds, but I think that was it for all that I had left over. I will show you I'll take you through a little, like showing you where all the moss poles live and like where I have them right now. So yeah, let me take you through that real quick. Okay, starting off with the new one, I have it underneath the grow light lamp. I don't really think I should be putting moss poles under this because the light is coming directly from above, and so I think it's going to keep the leaves pretty much looking like this. So my goal would be to have light facing the moss pole coming from the front with these, but this is just kind of the situation I have right now, so this is what she'll be in. This was the Marble Queen that we did earlier in the video, and she is in her same spot. I gave her the pink pot that the Tycon was in, but I like the way it looks. I think it's super cute. Okay, so over here by the big monstera, I scooted it over and put the Mandula pothos in there because it was under the standing lamp like the new one that I showed you, but I think that's one of the reasons why the leaves are just pointing straight up. So hopefully the light coming from the front will make it look a little bit better. And then I also have the Splendid here as well. And yeah, over here we have the Tycon looking amazing. I like the way that it came out. The moss pole looks great. We're gonna ignore the garden stick, but I like the way that the leaves are pointing. And we have the Glorius here as well. The Glorius, the leaf is kind of facing a different direction, but hopefully that will fix itself because it was missing an extension for a while, so I'm not too surprised. Right next door, I went ahead and put the Ghost down at the bottom. I don't know if I'll keep it there, but that's just the light situation that I decided to put it in right now. But the verrocosum is in its spot that it started out in. I just like it here. I think it's so pretty and the light hits it really well. So we're keeping her there. Okay, that is it for the moss pole video, maintenance, doing new ones, extensions, chop and extends, repots. It was a lot more than I expected it to be, but that kind of is the case when you don't do moss pole maintenance for a couple months, a few months. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed that, and thank you so much for being with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.